Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Monday, March 17th. Before I get started, I just want to say and make an announcement. If you are the person who signed up for a 30-day free trial to my report MMT Trader yesterday, and you signed up using an email address from Hushmail, Hush Mail. I've never heard of it before. That's the first time. Apparently, it's popular with lawyers. Hushmail. If you're listening to this, your email address that you provided came back as undeliverable, so I cannot sign you up. So if you're listening to this, please contact me and give me a valid email. Otherwise, I'm going to have to cancel that. All right, folks. Elon Musk, I'm telling you, man, like, every time it seems like this guy has taken me to the depths of my belief system when I look at somebody who is said to be our modern day Einstein. I am just shaken by the level of ignorance of somebody who purportedly has this level of genius, or people believe that he has this level of genius. There's a video going around today, and I had one of my subscribers send it to me, and then I had a friend of mine send me the same thing, where Elon is having a conversation with Ted Cruz and somebody else. I forget who the other person was, but anyway, Elon's talking about how the U.S. government just creates money out of nothing from the magic money tree. It's literally what he said, the magic money tree. And folks, like, at this point, like, I don't know whether to be frightened from this guy or just have a lot of sympathy for him, a lot of empathy for him, because he is so clueless. Like, when you say that the government is creating money out of nothing, that is how what does he expect? Like, there's some warehouse somewhere where stacks of dollar bills are piled up, or something is piled up, something physical, something tangible is stacked up in some warehouse somewhere. I don't know what, like dollar bills, gold bars, silver bullion, food storage, like, money is an accounting system, okay? That's all it is. In a system of fiat currency, where the government is an issuer of the currency, and then its claim on that currency, the value that is imparted to that currency is, it says, it's going to impose taxes on the citizenry, and it can only pay the taxes in its own currency. So there's this kind of symbiotic relationship between the issuance of the currency, which is, yes, just a keystroke on the computer, and the government says you have to give some of that back when we demand it. And that's the relationship between the two sides. That is why the non-government needs the money, and it's the reason why the government creates the money. It's also the reason is because the government needs to provision itself. So the system we went to, after hundreds of years of being on a gold standard, we went to this fiat currency system. But you take a guy like Elon Musk, and the other thing that it really makes me start to wonder about all these things that he's done, like the SpaceX and the Tesla and Skylink, or whatever that thing is called, if it's called Skylink. It makes me wonder if he's really behind this stuff, because this is not so hard to understand. And when he's sitting there speaking in this kind of incredulous fashion, like he's blown away, speaking almost like an 8th grader or something, an 8-year-old, like, the money The government makes money from a magic money tree. Like, you would think a guy of his intellect wouldn't have a problem understanding a system that is basically an accounting system, a scorekeeping system. And the modern world has moved off the concept of some kind of physical currency, some kind of physical backing of the currency since a long, long time. And even the most die-hard, let's call them hard money economists, like these Austrian economists, they're not even into the gold standard and that type of stuff anymore. They don't even support that anymore. So it's like, here you have this guy who's looked at as this unbelievable genius of a person that has not been on this planet since, when did Einstein die? 1957 or something like that, in the 50s. And yet he fails to understand this. Like, on the one hand, he does say, and a lot of what he says are also contradictions of his own position. Like, he's been going around up until now saying, like, if we don't cut the deficit, the government's going to go bankrupt. And implied in the bankruptcy claim is this idea that the government's going to run out of money. Yet at the same time, he'll say they just create money from the magic money tree. So the guy is a ball of confusion. He's a 100% total ball of confusion that is completely closed to the idea or to the understanding of how the monetary system operates. He has a belief system in his head. And it's a very confused belief system, like I said, because on the one hand, he could be saying one thing, and then he could turn around and say the exact opposite thing, which contradicts the first thing. And if you watch this video, and like Ted Cruz and the other guy also sitting there like, oh my God, like, you have to know that is how it operates. I mean, the fact that most of the world went to a system like this shows that we are in a highly technologically advanced world. We don't dig our money up out of the ground. We have created an accounting system. Back in the old days, maybe it was barter. Like, I'll exchange, a certain number of bushels of wheat for your corn or your sheep or your goats or whatever. And we would barter physical things. That was cumbersome. That was difficult to keep track of. It was, you needed to be thinking about moving these things around and storage and transportation and all this other stuff. So eventually the world evolved. The system evolved into what then it went to like a gold or a silver standard or some kind of a metal backing. And that, that didn't work either, because you had, every few years you had bankruptcies and busts because there wasn't enough physical to cover the growth of the economy. Remember, all this has to do with, this is about clearing. This is about transaction. All right. Having the numbers to satisfy the transaction. All right. Having a way to write down, to record, okay, I'm Mike, you're Joe. We exchange these things. You gave me this, I owe you that. Okay. So we went away from the physical arrangement, and we said we're gonna write it down on a blotter, okay? And then it emanated up towards where governments were able to do the same thing to provision themselves. Maybe they needed an army, they needed military supplies, maybe they wanted to put in infrastructure, maybe they wanted to have other things for the citizenry. And we said, okay, we're gonna do this, all right? And we're gonna give you credits because we're gonna impose taxes. And basically what this money issuance is a tax credit. You can use that to liquidate your tax liability with us. It's a scorekeeping method. There's no, this, oh my God, I just found out. I'm Elon Musk. Oh, Ted, Senator, I just found out that the government has a magic money tree and it could create money out of nothing. Hello? That's the system. And there's nothing wrong with it because it is simply an accounting system. That is it. If you run an accounting system, if you are an accountant and you have a ledger, you can't run out of the ledger. Even if your fancy ledger, let's say you order some fancy real ledger on Amazon and you used up all the pages, what do? You take a piece of paper and you keep recording what you need to record. I mean, this is, when you think about this, folks, think about this. Think about it. This guy is looked at as the modern day Einstein. Even Einstein understood this shit. Einstein understood this shit. I told you to Google it. I don't have the exact quote, but he talked about the ability of the government to create money like that. And it's not out of thin air. It's this system where they provide the credits and they tax us and we give the credits back to eliminate that tax on us. It's an arrangement, okay? The thing we really have to worry about, which we cannot create out of thin air, where there is no magic tree, is the actual physical goods that we need to live as human beings. Food, shelter, water, a clean environment, the ability to produce things, health. We need our health. Transportation, communication, all these things which are real assets that we make, not the government, we make it. We may provide some of that to the government. Like I always say, the government is the maker of money and the taker of things. And we, the non-government, are the maker of things and the taker of money. And the only reason why we take that money is because the government says, we're going to tax you and you could only pay us back with our own money. So that's what imparts the value into that money. But here's this guy. And again, I don't know whether to be frightened because he's going around saying this shit and he's going to say this shit and everybody's going to be thinking there's a magic money tree. Oh my God. I mean, the phraseology here is going to scare a lot of people, unfortunately, because a lot of people are they're just stupid and they're sheep and they're going to hear that, spoken in that fashion, the magic money tree, and they're going to think like this is some kind of crazy Ponzi scheme, which you hear that being said all the time. It's not, folks. This is just an accounting system. That is all it is. I gave you this, you give me that. We're going to mark it down on a ledger. There's no building filled up with something that the government goes in to pay for this. It's an accounting system. That's all it is. Freaking Elon Musk, this guy, I don't believe it when I hear this shit. And every freaking picture of Trump, he's standing right there behind him. It's like the Woody Allen movie Zelig. If you ever saw that movie Zelig, where Woody Allen's character appeared in every momentous moment, every monumental moment in history. Okay? He was somehow there. It's like the same thing going on now with Elon Musk. Like everywhere Trump is, he's standing right behind him, like the puppet master. What do you make of it? What do you make of it? I mean, I don't know whether to be frightened or whether to have like major sympathy, empathy for this guy, because he really, really is fucking stupid when it comes to this. Look, I don't know about his businesses. I mean, it seems like the things that he he leads. I can't even say anymore. It's like that. It's the things that he created. I don't know. I've become a skeptic. I don't think it's him. I think he had an idea, and he's pretty good at putting together the right team to make it happen. Maybe he stole some of the ideas. Apparently, Tesla was not founded by Elon Musk. It was some other engineer, and he kind of took it over or something. And he was in with other guys when they launched PayPal, you know? So like, I don't know what his real power is. I don't know what his real aptitude is. I find when he speaks, he stutters a lot. He falls over his words. He stutters a lot. He does come out with things occasionally that seem interesting to me, that seem intellectual, that seem a little bit deep. But I cannot anymore. And I don't proclaim myself to be a genius at all. I don't know what it takes in the field of economics. What type of intellect does it take to understand what's going on? I mean, to me, I think I'm just an average person. I think to me, it doesn't take some very, very high level to understand this stuff. To me, this stuff seems very, very cut and dried. And it should be easy for people to understand. But the world, and definitely this profession of economics, and somebody like a guy like Elon Musk, he is so deep into this false mythology and this belief system that is so off track and so off base from reality. And he's wielding a lot. I don't know if he's wielding a lot of power, but he's definitely wielding a lot of influence. I mean, when you see Ted Cruz sitting there like, oh my God, the magic money tree, like, you know, come on. By now, we should understand this shit. I mean, it's one thing if you want to argue that government spending creates inflation. If you want to argue that, I'll have that argument with you. I'll have that conversation with you, because I'll say that's not capitalism. That doesn't define capitalism and the way capitalism works. And as long as the system is capable of meeting the demand for that additional spending, then there shouldn't be any inflation, because again, it's supply and demand. If the system is somehow broken and incapable of meeting that demand with actual real assets, then yeah, you're going to have some inflation. I'll have that argument with you. But to pretend like the magic money tree, like that you're shocked about this, like as if you believe there's some warehouse somewhere where somebody from the government or like a big, dump truck or something has to back up, a big semi has to back up and load itself up with the payment material and go. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? It's absolutely insane, man. So let me just say, at the end of the day, I got to push this stuff out of my head, because I start to get crazy after a while, and I got to just come back. I come back to my core analysis, the leading flows. Everything is good. All the talk about cuts and Doge and this and that, it's not showing up. As long as it doesn't show up, I'm not worried. Anyway, that's it for today, folks. Once again, if you are the person who subscribed to a 30-day free trial and you used Hush Mail, if your email is hush.com, blah, 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 at hush.com, your email came in as undeliverable. If you want the thing, the subscription, the trial, you got to contact me. Anyway, folks, please like and subscribe. Thank you for all of you who have done that. And don't forget, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial to MMT Trader. And don't use Hush Mail, okay? All right, see you guys. Bye.